My sincere thanks to my good friend Dr. Swati and of course the Arvind team and the AOS for giving us the platform to discuss the various aspects of MIGS in the Indian context. And I think the laser cyclodestruction, what I'm going to talk about, is actually nothing unusual or nothing new. It's been around for quite some time now. And the intractable glaucomas are difficult glaucomas to handle, and we've had all types of post trauma, neovascularization, FAK, and we have seen it all: post PK, silicon oil related, limited vision potential, painful blindness, and so on. And traditionally, we have been doing cyclodestruction by doing cryotherapy, diathermy, and in the past, and we were doing the continuous wave diode laser for a very long time. Transscleral, sometimes the newer endoscopic techniques are also available. The new addition to the armamentarium of the glaucoma surgeon is the micropulse diode laser transscleral cyclodestruction. So the older one used to be called the G probe. I think you might have all seen this. The G probe has been around for quite some time. And we also have a G probe illuminate also. The placement is sideways, and you can actually place it spot on multiple spot applications, and it's a wedge shaped tip and so on. You place it circumferentially around the limbus, and it's a continuous wave laser. And I think I'm not going to describe too much about this. But the problems we used to have with the continuous wave diode CPC was the conjunctival burns, the iridocyclitis almost always, painful, hyphema, vitreous hemorrhage, hypotony, relatively common, choroidals, and very rarely even sympathetic ophthalmia has been reported with this continuous diode CPC. So we were not doing it in a predictable way in all patients, and we used to dread the thought of vision loss and complications. In seeing eyes, we would definitely not think of doing the continuous diode CPC. Whereas the newer one is the micropulse, uses micropulse technology, which denatures the target tissue and minimizes collateral damage. And the device actually applies a series of short repetitive bursts of energy, which is effectively confining the thermal effect with the absorbing tissue. And the probe is applied in a sweeping moment, unlike the previous spot application of the laser. The duty cycle is 131.3% with on of 0.5 milliseconds and off 1.1 milliseconds. 80 seconds each hemisphere, 2000 milliwatts is the power, and approximately for about 5 sweeps in each hemisphere. 5.5 sweeps is what we can time yourself to do. And I usually do it in the operation theater setting, because we need to give a peribulbar block. We need to have an anesthetist maybe as a standby, or some physician, because basically you're giving a block. And these are the settings which I have described to you, about 80 seconds and 2000 milliwatts. I'm going to show you a few case examples of where I found this useful in some of my patients. In very advanced primary angle closure glaucomas in young patients, even phakic patients with fairly good vision, we dread the thought of very, very shallow ACs and extremely narrow angles, occludable with extensive PAs to near advanced total cupping. We dread the fear of complications in these kind of patients, and patients sometimes when you explain, try to get an informed consent, they don't give their consent for surgery. When this particular patient was offered the option of the micropulse diode CPC, she readily agreed. And first I did one eye with caution, and this was many years ago. And subsequently, the result was so good that we did the other eye. This patient is now actually quite stable with 1 or 2 medications and continues to hold at the same level. And this is another patient with, again, with good vision, multiple medication, intolerant to most of the drugs you can think of, cannot tolerate, has severe hyperemia, and simply does not comply with whatever is given to her, stop using the medication. This is another patient whom we had offered this therapy, and it had worked well for her too, and now she's only on 1 medication. You see the discoloration around the eye and the severe intolerance to medication. This is another interesting patient, first who had a phacotrab. It scarred down, the pressure was very high, vision slowly started dropping, glaucoma was progressing. Then we ended up doing a tube. The tube also worked well for some time. Again, the tube sort of fibrosed and again was not doing the job. The pressure again started going up. We had no option but to do something like a diode CPC, the micropulse diode CPC. And this has held the pressure now. And with advanced glaucoma like this, we were already treated with multiple options. And this was the only thing which you could do. And luckily for him, it has worked. Another patient with the Boston K-Pro, in which Boston K-Pro was actually done in both eyes. And you can see the tarsography also on one side. So this eye, apparently the disc was worsening, and the pressure we could not measure accurately, but we felt the glaucoma was worsening. So therefore, I did the micropulse CPC in one eye, and then with the encouraging result in one eye, I have done the other eye as well. So these are patients in whom you have no other option but to reduce the pressure with the controlled kind of micropulse CPC. The continuous wave transcranial CPC is destructive. These are pictures from Paul Chu, who has shown the pre and post TSCPC with the continuous wave, and shows that the tissue shrinkage and cyclodestruction is very obvious. Whereas with the post micropulse, pre and post micropulse, you will find there is no detectable evidence of tissue damage. These are again images from Paul Chu's presentations, which shows that the visible damage is much less with the micropulse. So, but there are problems with the micropulse, not that it is all very nice and easy to do all the time. The cost and logistics is a problem. The probe only has a timed radio frequency probe in which you can use it only for about 90 minutes, and you have to pull together patients with a cost being high and so on. Two patients have inflammation. There can be a vision loss with patients having good vision. You can have a vision loss of 1 or 2 lines, which is worrying because we don't have an explanation for the vision loss right now. People can remain dilated. In my initial patients, people used to get dilated. Now I don't get that problem. Epithelial haze, when you're getting too close to the limbus and probably damaging stem cells and so on. But complications, mind you, are very rare. I've hardly had anybody developing choroidals. I have not had anybody developing severe hypotony. All of it settles down with medical treatment. Nobody had any serious complications. But I would avoid treating thin areas where blood clots are there, immediate post-ops, active inflammation. I would not do it. A lot of papers and publications have come out recently in ophthalmology, Journal of Glaucoma, British Journal, a lot of publications. I'm sure if you Google, you will find all these articles. The essence of all these publications has been that the IOP reduction is quite good. You would get a mean reduction of about 30-35% in most patients. People who are using 3 to 4 drugs will end up reducing the number of drugs from 1 or 2 medications eventually. And we published our study recently on our initial Indian experience of about 55 eyes, the micropulse transscleral in refractory glaucoma. And it was very encouraging to find about a 30% drop in intraocular pressure in the short term. We are going to continue these patients and see what happens in the long run as well. So the mechanism of action of this particular method of treatment is supposed to be a subthreshold cell damage at the level of the pigmented epithelium with no visible scarring and reduced collateral damage, and induces ciliary muscle shortening, scleral spur rotation, trabecular meshwork movement, and Schlemm's canal changes that are supposed to improve aqueous outflow and reduce the intraocular pressure. It acts somewhat like the hypothesis of how pilocarpine would act by increasing the UV scleral outflow. I'm going to show you a short video clip of how you can do it with the speculum on. And in the average patient with a prominent eye and have a good space like this, you can actually do it with the speculum on. So this is the slow sweep. You do about 5 sweeps in about 80 seconds inferiorly. Try to avoid the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock as you are treating. The placement and the pressure which you apply should be, but the learning curve is only in that area. How much pressure to apply, how fast you can rotate, and where you place the probe. This is with the speculum on. And sometimes you will have difficulties. People have been using multiple medication. You will find tight palpable fissures. You're simply not able to insert a speculum and place the probe. There's one technique described which has been done like this. You can actually use the probe itself like a speculum to push apart the eyelids. Without pressure on the globe, you can actually do it without a speculum as well. So this is another method which I have learned recently that I can do. So take home message, micropulse CPC is a safe and effective alternative to continuous CPC in wherever you consider diode CPC. Can also be used in seeing eyes and not just intractable glaucomas, but vision loss is a problem and you must take informed consent and inform the patient as well. Will reduce the need for medication with very few complications, but you must avoid in recent post-ops and recent eyes with having severe inflammation or even mild inflammation. We definitely need longer term follow-up, and we definitely need follow-up studies before we get much more information about the long-term effects. Thank you so much.